Enjoyed that.
Helldivers 2 just released, and it is amazing. A follow-up to Helldivers 1 from 9 years ago. The perspective has changed completely from a top-down shooter to a third-person shooter, and it is definitely for the best. The first game was awesome in its own right, but Helldivers 2 has taken it to another level. Not only has the perspective changed, but the graphics have changed, and they look absolutely phenomenal. I'm playing on PS5, and it's a smooth 60 frames. It looks amazing. The lighting is absolutely incredible. They went all out for this game, and it really, really shows. Arrowhead has delivered an amazing looking game that is so freaking fun to play. The foundation of the first game is still present here in the second game. You land on a planet, you run around completing side objectives and main objectives. You are destroying bug nests and taking out bugs and automatons along the way. These side objectives get you more experience and more money, but they are not required to fulfill the mission. Part of the fun is running around discovering different things around the map, and all of a sudden chaos ensues where you're dropping turrets, you're dropping airstrikes, friendly fire is a thing here, and so you have to be constantly aware of your surroundings and communicate with your teammates on what you're about to do. That's part of the fun of this game, is how comically hard this game is. Normally I would get frustrated with a hard game like this, but because it is encouraging you to play with others and call in these stratagems, whether it's a turret or an air barrage or a scorching laser cannon. There's so many different things to do, and there's friendly fire, so you have to constantly be aware of all of your surroundings and run away when you are getting overwhelmed. It's incredible. Some of the best moments I've had in gaming this year so far have come from this game, and just the absolute absurdity that ensues when 4 different people are calling in turrets and airstrikes. You are constantly running around, communicating, yelling, screaming. It is a freaking blast. When you call in stratagems, you're putting in almost a Mortal Kombat-like code with the arrows on the D-pad. And once you get that sequence right, you can then call in whatever you're trying to call in on your stratagem list that you bring in with you. You can go to different terminals and call in air support. You can call in the dropship to escape. Pretty much everything that you can do revolves around this different code that you put in. Now, they have upped their game, and instead of just putting the code in, there are different things like moving a satellite, where you'll go to the terminal, put in the code, and then it will tell you, okay, this satellite needs to be moved 45 degrees this way. So if you're playing solo, you got to remember that when you go over to the satellite to move it, run back to the terminal and make sure it's all right. If you have a teammate with you, that's where the fun comes in, because you can send them over there, drop down a turret to watch your back, and then tell them, okay, move it this way. No, back. There's so many different ways to play this game. It's awesome. The turrets really do some work, but you got to be careful, because if you are in the crossfire of that turret, you're going to go down, and your teammates are going to have to call you back in. And you have a limited number of revives. But the cool thing about the revives, or any different stratagem that you call in, if it comes down in a pod, you are able to semi-control that pod and try and land on the different enemies and destroy them. It's hilarious. You're constantly trying to move it in aim, and if you miss, you might be surrounded by bugs or automatons in the blink of an eye, and now you're really in trouble. But again, that's part of the fun of this game, is that crazy, hilarious scenarios that you can get yourself into. There have been a couple bugs, but that's kind of par for the course nowadays with different games, especially online live service games. There tends to be a decent amount of bugs at the beginning of a launch. And with Helldivers 2 selling way better than Sony and Arrowhead expected. The servers have been overloaded, and you don't have the best matchmaking in the world just yet. But they have been pushing a ton of updates for this game, and it has only gotten better and better. The way to progress in this game is by doing missions, getting experience, getting money, and finding samples along the way. These samples allow you to upgrade parts of your ship, which decrease cooldowns for certain weapons and certain stratagems. They also have medals that go towards the quote-unquote battle pass. There is a normal battle pass that you can unlock different pieces of gear, different weapons, and there's also a premium battle pass that has its own set of different gear, weapons, super credits, boosters, whatever it may be. So you use these medals to unlock different weapons, different gear, and you can really mix and match and really create your own Helldiver that is specifically to you. The combinations of the stratagems are almost endless. You can have a grenade launcher, you can have a strafing eagle run, different turrets, you can have an ammo pack, a jump pack, a laser beam. There's so much to this, and Arrowhead has really thought this through and has really made every single weapon at least serviceable. There are some weapons that are better than others, of course, but you can really use any kind of weapon and do a decent job with it, whether it's a shotgun, an assault rifle, an automatic pistol, a marksman rifle. They really went all out with this, and it really shows. This game is amazing, flat out. I highly recommend it to anybody who loves third-person shooters, who loves live service, or is just looking for a super fun co-op game to play with some friends. There is matchmaking, kind of. When you go onto a planet, you can see different missions and how many players are in each of those missions. So you can join randoms if you want, but it is so much fun to grab a couple buddies, drop in, and cause crazy chaos. Cannot recommend it enough, especially at the $40 price point. So go out there, get this game. I cannot recommend it enough. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.